Good afternoon, everyone. I, Toshio Miyata, present two-piece handicap silver tandem strategy lessons. This series has 13 lessons. I hope you enjoy it. This strategy is called two-piece handicap silver tandem, also known as Gin Taden in Japanese. Well, there are many professional players who claim they do not like playing against the silver tandem strategy, because this strategy is very good for a two-piece handicap match. So please, everyone, master this strategy, and I hope you will have confidence that you can beat Habu and Tanigawa. The point of this strategy involves these two moves, pawn to 4-6 and then pawn to 4-5. The question is, what happens if black does not make the pawn to 4-6 move? In this situation, white aims at a formation with pawn on 4-4, silver on 4-2, silver on 4-3, gold on 3-2, and gold on 5-2. Pawn on 4-4 allows white to easily make a favorable formation, as shown in the example moves. Please notice that all of white's gold and silver pieces have strong links between them. To avoid that, black must make two moves, pawn to 4-6 and pawn to 4-5. These two moves are the linchpin of two-piece handicap tactics for black. Against black's pawn to 4-5, one of white's replies is often king to 5-2 to make a good formation. However, there is another move, pawn to 5-5, that is white's biggest trick in this situation. Well, there is a necessity for a bit more explanation about pawn to 5-5 before talking about silver tandem strategy. Pawn to 5-5 obviously offers to give away a pawn for free. I guess that everyone may wonder what happens if black takes this free pawn. In this case, white will make such moves as silver to 5-4 and silver to 4-5 to take black's pawn on 4-5. This is a bad case for black. Thus, black should not take white's pawn to 5-5 right now. Black plays pawn to 3-6. And white plays silver to 5-4. From this follows rook to 4-8, silver to 4-2, and silver to 3-8. The point is that black should use bishop and right silver to take white's pawn on the 5-5 square. However, it is not as easy as it sounds, because white will make an effort to not let this pawn be taken easily. Usually, white defends this pawn on 5-5, both silvers. Attacking pieces are bishop and silver, defending pieces are two silver. This is 2 against 2, an even situation. So, what black should do is to make this 3 against 2 situation, instead of a 2 against 2 situation. Black's next move should be to defend the head of the king, and then advance the silver from 7-7 to 6-6. This is okay. We can say it as, do not take the pawn on 5-5 right away, and take the 5-5 pawn using bishop and silver. Going back to the silver tandem strategy, white plays king to 5-2, and black plays pawn to 3-6. From this follows gold to 3-2, silver to 4-8, gold to 6-2, and silver to 4-7. As in the Shogi proverb, black should secure space by sending additional pieces if there is a square previously occupied by another piece. So, the purpose of silver to 4-8 and silver to 4-7 is to secure the occupied square, which is 4-5 in this case. White plays pawn to 6-4. There is another strategy called double advanced pawn attack that black can use for the two-piece handicap. The key point of this strategy is that black plays rook to 3-8 soon after pawn to 3-5 to try to exchange a pawn. This lesson is about silver tandem, so I would like to omit double advanced pawn attack this time. Pawn to 5-6 and silver to 6-8. Someone may wonder what silver tandem is. It refers to the shape of these two silvers that are lined up vertically or horizontally. So, this is the silver tandem. Next is the central rook. White plays pawn to 6-5 to make the formation of gold on 6-4 and knight to 7-3 when white faces another strategy such as double advanced pawn attack. However, this formation will not be favorable to white in this case. In the worst case, black gets a big advantage out of this situation. For instance, black makes moves like rook to 5-8 and pawn 5-5 or 5-6, pawn takes 5-5 or 5-4, and then silver takes 5-5 or 4-6. In this situation, an exchange between white's gold and black's silver is inevitable. This is not favorable to white. Thus, white will not play pawn to 6-5 to make the formation of gold on 6-4. White must avoid exchanging pieces as much as possible. White is having a hard time finding a good move. White plays gold to 8-4, and black plays rook to 5-8. This is the central rook. A lot of people play this, but it may be easier to remember that this central rook in the two-piece handicap is part of the silver tandem. So, white plays knight to 7-3, and black plays king to 4-8. Normally, white plays pawn to 7-5 or 7-4, pawn takes 7-5 or 7-6, gold takes 7-5 or 8-4 to exchange pawns. However, exchanging pawns will be bad for white in this situation because black can drop a pawn at 7-2, since there is no other pawn on this file. Black has a huge advantage if a pawn can promote in the next move. A promoted pawn has the ability to move as a gold. This move lacks attacking speed if black begins an attack with promoted pawn to 8-1. The next movement of pawn to 5-5 after a promoted pawn to 7-2 is an excellent move for black. In this situation, black has rook and silver as attacking pieces. White has only one defending piece, which is the silver on the 5-3 square. For example, white plays pawn takes 5-5, and black plays silver takes 5-5. In no time, black will easily penetrate white's defense in this situation. Therefore, white cannot exchange pawns on the 7th file after pawn to 7-5, because black can drop a pawn on 7-2. Although white has difficulty finding an effective move, the next move is gold to 8-5. The meaning of this move is to take black's pawn on 7-6 without any sacrifice. Black plays king to 3-8. You may wonder if white can get away without a sacrifice, but I have actually seen this move. Well, black plays rook to 7-8 to avoid the pawn being captured by white, but black's attacking speed will be diminished, so it is clever that black should sacrifice that pawn because black can make an attack if white takes that pawn. If white takes that pawn with gold to 7-6, black should play gold to 7-8. A pawn is captured, but gold to 7-8 is good enough to defend against white's attack. White's pawn is still on 7-4, so white's gold on 7-6 is no threat to black, since a gold on 7-6 is overtaking a pawn in this situation. This is good enough for black. The situation on the board is good, although black cannot omit gold to 7-8. This concludes the first lesson on silver tandem. The next lesson will talk a bit more about the silver tandem opening. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Toshio Miyata. This lesson is Silver Tandem Strategy Opening, Part 2. I am going to start where I left off last time. Let's continue. This is where I left off in the previous lesson. On the board, black plays gold 7-8 to defend against white's attack. Now white plays silver to 2-2. The position of this silver is called a wall that blocks the king's path when black attacks from the other side. It is strange that white plays silver to 2-2 to create this unfavorable position. However, white has no alternative move in this situation. If white plays silver to 4-2, black will play pawn to 3-5 and then pawn to 3-4. White cannot take this pawn. It will be a great success for black if white takes this pawn, because black plays bishop to 1-1 promotes. If white plays another move, such as pawn to 8-4, then pawn takes 3-3 promotes. Silver takes 3-3, pawn drops on 3-4. White cannot take black's dropped pawn on 3-4. If white takes it, of course, black plays bishop to 1-1 promotes. Silver to 2-2, and then this pawn to 3-4 is a key move in this situation. This is not favorable, because silver to 2-2 will not be an effective piece unless white makes an ingenious plan. It is strange, but white will play silver to 2-2 to avoid pawn to 3-4, followed by bishop to 1-1 promotes. Black plays silver to 3-5, and white plays pawn to 2-4. White tries to improve an unfavorable position. Black plays gold to 4-8, and white plays silver to 2-3, successfely eliminating the wall silver. White creates a possible escape path for the king, king to 3-1, and then 2-2. Black plays knight to 3-7, and white plays pawn to 8-5. White advances a pawn to the head of the knight. Black will have a bit of trouble if he ignores the purpose of this pawn move and plays another move such as pawn to 2-6. For example, pawn to 8-6, pawn takes 8-6, pawn drops on 8-7. If this happens, it will be difficult to use the knight effectively. A knight can go to 7-9, but this position is no threat to white, thus it is not favorable. The point is that the knight should stay at the 8-8 position, or at least stay on this diagonal line. If black plays knight to 7-9, it will make the situation complicated. Back to pawn to 2-6. Black should play lance to 9-8. This is an important move, so everyone should memorize it. Suppose white plays pawn to 8-6, and black plays pawn takes 8-6. The knight can go to 9-9 instead of 7-9 if white drops a pawn at 8-7. On the 9-9 square, the knight still has great influence over white's formation. This is good enough. Lance to 9-8. This is an important move. White plays pawn to 9-4. Black plays pawn to 9-6. To be honest, white has no effective moves in this situation. If white plays pawn to 8-6 instead of pawn to 1-4, then pawn takes 8-6, gold takes 8-6. A player will not reach beyond beginner's level if he or she drops a piece here because he or she feels like it. White moves the gold back, but now has two pawns. In this situation, black should not be afraid of pawn to 8-7 at all. What is black going to do? Black should play pawn to 8-4 instead of pawn to 8-7. Since white does not have an effective move, black can promote a pawn in the next move. If white uses the king to prevent a pawn promotion, of course black plays pawn to 5-5. I have said this over and over. Black has silver and rook as attacking pieces, but white has only a silver with which to defend, so black can penetrate white's defense. The only way to prevent this is pawn to 8-2. However, this is not very favorable to white. This is good enough for black. White plays gold to 8-5, then 8-6 to capture a pawn, but the position of the pawn at 8-2 is very bad. This pawn will most likely be useless. Thus, pawn to 8-4 is better than pawn to 8-7. This is very important, so please remember. So, back to pawn to 8-6. White plays lance to 1-2 instead of pawn to 8-6. This move is like passing a move because white has no effective move at this time. Black plays pawn to 5-5. White plays pawn takes 5-5. And black plays rook takes 5-5. If white plays pawn drops on 5-4 to defend, black should play rook to 5-9, not rook to 5-8. The reason for not playing rook to 5-8 is that white can drop silver on 6-9 in the future if black keeps the shape of rook on 5-8 and gold on 7-8.
こういう銀が出てきますね。6九銀、割り打ちって言いますね。両取りですこれ。
To prevent this, black should play rook to 5-9.
5九飛車なんですね。
This rook to 5-9 move has effective potential. For example, black can play rook to 2-9 to attack from the second file in the future. So this rook to 5-9 is a very good move for not only handicap matches, but also even games. Please remember the rook to 5-9 formation as a good position. Black plays rook to 5-9. It is white's turn now. White can try several moves, but there are no effective ones at all. White can play pawn to 8-6, but this is not favorable, as I explained earlier. Well then, just play the edge pawn, pawn to 1-4. Black plays pawn to 2-6. This creates an escape path for the king in the future.
将来王様の逃げ場にもなりますのでね、こういうところ。
It is impossible for white to wait any longer with this formation. So white plays pawn to 6-5. In the future, white can play pawn to 6-6 to block the knight's attack. The knight will be hard to use if its attacking path is blocked. If black plays pawn to 6-5, then white plays pawn drops on 6-6. This may make the situation worse for black. Pawn to 6-5 is an unfavorable move for black, but it could be a chance. Black has a good chance against pawn to 6-5. The next lesson will be about attacking moves against this pawn to 6-5.
攻め方とさせてもらいます。
Good afternoon, everyone. Toshio Miyata presents the two-piece handicap silver tandem strategy. This is the third lesson. We are now going to study how to attack white's pawn to 6-5 formation. Last time, we stopped at white's pawn to 6-5 move. Next, white plays pawn to 6-6 to block the path of black's bishop. Black feels insecure about the ability to attack if the bishop is blocked. So, black should attack now when pawn to 6-5 is played. If possible, you should use a shogi set to help you memorize these moves. Recently, many professionals have started using computers to study shogi, but some veterans do not feel comfortable about that. In my opinion, it is very important to get a feel for the shogi pieces. I think it is much better to set up the position on a shogi board and play through the moves than just watching the TV monitor. Pawn to 5-5, pawn takes 5-5, silver takes 5-5. Many people think it will be the same if white plays pawn to 5-4. Is this true? It is not going to be like this after white plays pawn to 5-4. If the silver moves back, it is the same as before. This is not an effective attack. It seems to be a great success for black in the event of pawn drops on 6-4, silver takes 6-4, pawn drops on 5-4. However, as you already know, black cannot play pawn drops on 6-4 because of double pawn on the same file, which is prohibited by the rules of shogi. So, the question is, what should black do? There is a good move. This way? No. That way? No. Also, it is not going back. So, there is only one thing that we can think of. That move is pawn takes 5-4. This is a powerful move. White has to take the silver because it is a free piece. In this situation, pawn to 5-5 works out well because of pawn to 6-5, which white played earlier. If the silver goes this way, black can take it with the knight. Then the pawn on 6-5 is white's own piece, so white cannot take it. Thus, black has sacrificed the silver first, but black can take white's silver in the next turn. Next move, black can take the silver by playing pawn drops on 5-5. One silver is white's silver, which is the only piece that can defend effectively. The other silver is black's silver, which is ready for exchanging. Black feels very comfortable if he or she can exchange this silver for white's silver on 5-3. Take it first. Pawn to 5-5. Silver takes 5-5. Bishop takes 5-5. Now black can use the bishop effectively by moving it onto 5-5. If white's next move is pawn drops on 5-4, then black plays silver drops on 6-4. This is a great success. Let it go back to the right side instead of this. Next, black can play rook to 5-4 or silver to 7-3 promotes. It is impossible to avoid both, so this is a great success for black. What should white do? Maybe white can play pawn to 6-4. If black takes this pawn, the path of the bishop is blocked. Well, I think black is still able to win this game. I think black can win by playing this, but let's take the silver. If white plays pawn drops on 5-2, black can take the pawn nice and easy. Let's go back to here. There is a little concern about white playing pawn takes 6-7 promotes after black plays pawn to 5-4. But black can now play pawn to 5-3 promotes. This is an extremely severe move against white. If white plays king to 7-2, black can sacrifice the promoted pawn by moving it to 6-3 and then promote the rook. However, I think it is a bit of a shame to sacrifice the promoted pawn at this time. This is probably a better move. In the next turn, black can use the promoted pawn by playing silver drops on 6-4. If white plays promoted pawn to 7-8, black can play promoted pawn to 6-3. I think black wins this. Yep, this is good enough for black. Well, white's logical moves, such as pawn to 3-5, pawn to 6-6, or silver drops on 5-5, do not seem to be such good moves. What kind of move does white have in this situation? There is no way that white's king can run away like this. Threatening to capture a gold will hurt white badly. This situation is favorable for black. Because there is one more pawn in black's hand, black can play pawn drops 5-5 if white plays pawn drops 5-3. In this situation, black is gaining a silver. It is white's turn. Actually, white plays neither pawn drops 5-3 nor pawn to 6-6. There is not a good move for black. It will be pawn drops 5-8. Black can take it by rook, gold, or silver, but this is a problem. What should black do? There are 3 ways to take it, by gold or silver. Which one is the right move for black? I will leave this problem for your homework until next time, when we will study an endgame arising from white's pawn to 6-5 formation. Good afternoon, everyone.
Miyata Toshio
Toshio Miyata presents the two-piece handicap silver tandem strategy. This is lesson 4. We will study how to attack and the endgame arising from white's pawn to 6-5 formation. Well, last time we left this situation when white had played pawn drops 5-8. Black can take the pawn with either a rook, a silver, or a gold. Which is the right move? Looks like bad shape if black takes it with a silver. Black does not feel good about this shape, so black will take it with a gold or a rook. However, white can play this silver if black takes it with a rook. This is not favorable to black. This silver drop on 6-9 is a fork. The silver can take either the gold or the rook. If black plays rook to 6-8, white plays silver takes 7-8 promotes. From this follows rook takes 7-8, gold to 8-7. Or gold to 6-7. This is not favorable to black. So, taking with a gold seems to be the right move. But if black takes it with a gold, there follows silver takes 5-5, bishop takes 5-5, silver drops 6-4, bishop to 8-8, and then white plays pawn to 5-4. Black is trying to use the rook, but white will send this gold as backup. Black may let white recover the situation. Thus, this is not quite right. You may wonder what the right move is, but actually, taking it with the rook is the correct one. Taking with the rook is the answer to this problem. You are not comfortable because of the silver, are you? Well, it is not good, but we have no choice. At this moment, there is a better place to go than rook to 6-8. Rook to 5-6 is the best move, and it also threatens to capture the gold. If white does not let black capture the gold, then black takes the silver. Next, black can play pawn to 5-3 promotes, and white does not have a way to avoid this. White plays vigorously,